On to stage 5 of La Vuelta 21. Flat as a pancake today between Tarancón and Albacete, and the wind shouldn't be too strong in the final, so pretty much nailed on for another bunch sprint. Tarancón makes its Vuelta debut today, but it's a 22nd stage finish in Albacete, where the wind often plays havoc with this race. Nasser Bouhanni was the last winner there in 2014, while Oscar Freire won in the World Champions jersey back in 2000. Another very hot day as we continue to ride towards the south, and once again there were 3 riders in the breakaway from the 3 Spanish wildcard teams. With quite a bit of headwind today, the average speed was around 40 km an hour for the first 2 hours of racing. The peloton thinking ahead to the intermediate sprint around 50k from the finish, and of course the final shootout itself. Up front then, 3 Grand Tour debutants. Xavier Miquel Asparen from Euskaltel Euskadi, already in the breakaway on stage 2. Pelayo Sanchez in the purple from Burgos BH. And Oyer Lascano from Caja Rural Seguros, happy to be putting his team in the spotlight. Aggressiveness from all 3 breakaway riders gave them a maximum lead of 7 minutes, but it soon began to shrink, especially when Taromay's Intermarché Wanty-Gobert squad were joined at the front by the sprint teams Alpecin Fenix, De Koning Quickstep and Groupama FDJ. There was a good-natured sprint between Lascano and Sanchez in La Roda, but it was game faces on in the peloton with a maximum of 13 points still up for grabs.
Who's going to take these points? Over on the right-hand side, it is the Alpecin Fenix team who are looking for this, but it's Arnaud Démare who also challenges to try and get the points.
Well, Philipsen getting there just ahead of Démare. The peloton really starting to up the tempo now as they made for Albacete. With 40k to go, they were only 2 minutes behind the leaders, and 3 soon became 2 up front. Sanchez was unable to keep pace with Lascano and Asparen. 2 became 1 as Asparen was also dropped. Lascano set for a podium appearance as the day's most combative rider. With the peloton now closing in, a couple of teams tried to force a split, but the wind simply wasn't blowing hard enough. Heading into the final 10k, the pace was still very, very high. And with lots of riders jostling for position, there was quite a bit of stress in the peloton, and it would have unfortunate consequences for the man in the red jersey.
Oh, no. A big crash in the peloton. Loads of riders have come down, and this is what happens in these winds.
Poor old Taramay crashing for the 2nd time in as many days, and this time he would lose the red jersey. The sprinters, meanwhile, ready for action in Albacete.
Who can win the stage? Philipsen gets ready, Démare gets ready. Who's going to win this one? As Alpecin Fenix line this one up with Sacha Modlo. On his wheel is Jasper Philipsen about to strike. Arnaud Démare is there. Also up there is Van Rensburg, so is Dainese. Wow, this is some sprint. Dainese is there. It's Jasper Philipsen. Philipsen coming up is Jakobsen, but it's going to be 2 wins in the Vuelta for Jasper Philipsen of Alpecin Fenix.
The red jersey hasn't brought Taramay much joy in the past few days. 2 crashes for the Estonian, who lost 2 minutes 21 today. As he said before the stage, it's not easy to lead a Grand Tour, especially with a team who aren't used to these GC battles. He loses the red jersey to Kenny Elissonde, and the Frenchman is another man who finds himself leading a Grand Tour for the very first time.
This is not the way I wanted to take the jersey, but we know in cycling when there is wind there is risk, and that's still incredible, to wear the jersey one day like this is it's super cool, no?
After yesterday I was a bit disappointed that I couldn't do my sprint like we wanted, but to win today is super nice to turn the page from yesterday and just to enjoy this moment together with the team.
Philipsen securing his 2nd win of this Vuelta ahead of Jakobsen and Alberto Danesi, whose team leader at DSM, Romain Bardet, lost over 12 minutes in that late crash. Elissonde leads the race by 5 seconds from Primoz Roglic and 10 from Lilian Calmejane. We then have 3 riders from Movistar, Mas, Lopez and Valverde, followed by Ciccone, Bernal, Landa and Marder, 45 seconds separating the top 10. There is only 1 point separating Philipsen and Jakobsen in the fight for the green jersey. The Belgian recovers it after taking his 10th career win today. It was a day to forget for Taramay, but he does at least keep hold of the polka dot jersey as the race's best climber ahead of Elissonde. Bernal is the best young rider, although Marder and Alexander Vlasov are both within 16 seconds of the Colombian. Tomorrow the sprinters will take a back seat and let the punchers and GC favourites battle it out for victory on the Alto de la Montaña de Cullera. 1.9 kilometres at 9.4%, so it should be a thrilling finale. Do join us again tomorrow, and thanks very much for watching.
Concluyendo la presentazione, 3 Vuelta a España 2015, como recordamos, va a ser su última campaña como ciclista profesional. El cariño de todos nosotros. Exaltada participación para él, top 10 en el Tour y top 10 también la Vuelta. Se busca nosotros el vencedor de la etapa de la rueda. En este espacio 2021 venció también la etapa. En el control de la Vuelta a España, en la coste que cumple su 4.
Really good job, man. Who's the boss? We are the boss! We're the leader. What is he? What is he? Hey, man. We got Tommy! You wanna bet, huh? Jasper, on the right. Picture. Let's have one for you. Yes, man. Yes. The lion pack. Yes, man. Yeah! Una cerveza, por favor.